Okay, yeah. Hi, everyone. So we are happily inviting you for the next session in developer series. So in this session, we are going to discuss about how to build the the serverless applications. Okay, with the help of API Gateway, Lambda, and the DynamoDB. These are the services we discussed and then made a demos and then hands-on projects in the previous sessions we did that. So this is a kind of combination of the previous in this session is combination of the previous session services. Okay, so in this session, yeah, I make sure screen is getting set. Yeah, so in this session we are going to, yeah, just a second. So we are going to build the serverless application for order management. So in the previous session, we talked about DynamoDB table. In DynamoDB table, we created, discussed four Golang functions for create, update, read, delete. So we are going to convert that. We are going to check how to convert that Golang projects into the Lambda function, and then how to integrate that functions with API gateway. Okay, so and then how to test these APIs, like how to test the entire order management system. So that we are going to discuss about in this video. Okay, so in this video, in this session, what are the changes we are going to do it in the code is, so we are going to create the DynamoDB. Okay, so we are going to mention that name, the partition key. Okay, and then the building mode. So we are going to use pay per request, and then the removal policy. So these are the things we are going to mention in our DynamoDB CDK. Okay, AWS CDK, and then in the Lambda function, we are going to create four Lambda functions, which are create order, a read order, and update order and delete order. So these are the functions we are going to create it, and then we are going to create the API gateway. So which is a REST API gateway, and then we are going to create four APIs. So one for create and another one for uh, read, delete, and update. So these are the APIs we are going to create, and then the permission wise, we are going to give the permission to Lambda to access the DynamoDB. For a create Lambda function, we are going to provide a write permission, and then read of a Lambda function, we are going to provide a read, and then update, we are going to provide a read and write, and delete, we are going to provide read and write. So these are the things we are going to do it in our AWS CDK code. Okay, so let me share my screen to Visual Studio Code. So we will walk through the code and changes everything we did. Okay, yeah. So this is the entry file developer series.go. Okay. So exactly we replicated the changes we discussed in the slide. So we implemented in the code wise also. Okay, and this is the table, and then DynamoDB table, and then we created four Lambda function. Okay, and then we created the REST APIs, and then we created the API resources like for create, update, delete, and then we mention the permission and everything. So this is what we did that. So let's go one by one. So in the table, order table, we mention the table name, the values and everything. We are getting it from the config file. So the config, we define all the constant values. Okay, the stack name, and then table name, partition key, and then sort key, and the create order Lambda function, what is their name, and then where is the source code path, and then read, update, and delete, and then memory size and duration, and what is our entry file of our Golang application, like the build file name. What is the build file name? So that we are all the constant values we are defining in our config file, and then in our AWS series in DynamoDB table, we mention the table name, mention the partition key. Okay, so my partition key will be my order ID, and then billing mode, paper request, and then like the removal policy we defined, and then we are creating a Lambda function. So with the help of a Lambda handler. So the Lambda handler we defined here. So here we are mentioning like the function, Lambda function name, runtime, memory size, timeout, like how long it will take, and then the code path. So these values we are getting it from the config files, and then the handler. Okay. So here we are creating four Lambda function: create order, read order, and delete order. Okay. So the inside what we have in our Lambda code, that we will discuss it. So in the AWS API Gateway, so with the CDK package, we are creating the API Gateway here. Okay. So the name and the description we configured, and then the the root path, so that we are configure here. This is the orders. Okay. Root path will be orders, and like here I'm creating the create subroot path. Okay. So which is post method, and then I'm integrating with create order Lambda function. This is for another API which passes ID, order ID, and it supports get, put, delete. So I can perform read. I integrated with the get method API, integrated with the read order handler, and put method API integrated with update, and delete method API integrated with delete order handler. Okay. So and then finally we are giving the permissions to my Lambda functions, like for a orders table, uh, for the create order handler, I'm providing write access, and then read access for a read Lambda handler, and then read write access for update handler, and then read write access for order. This is what we are doing it. This is how we have to configure our serverless code for our CRUD operation. Okay. So now let's check our Lambda code. Okay. So previously we created four Golang projects. So now let's check how to convert that project into the Lambda function. Okay. So first let's take insert record. Okay. So in the main.go file. So this is the main.go this is the this is the entry point. Main function is the entry point of our Golang project. And then here I'm importing the Lambda function. I'm starting the Lambda function here. I'm passing the handler request here. Okay. So it will receive the events from some other services. Okay. So I'm integrated with the API gateway, right? So it will, I'm passing API gateway request event. I'm passing it. Okay. So it will get the value from the request payload. Okay. And then here I'm just validating it. Okay. So I'm setting the order time, and then the quantity I'm getting it from the payload, and then I'm creating the item through the AWS SDK. I'm inserting the values into the DynamoDB orders table. Okay. So this is what I'm doing it. If everything is success, I'm returning uh, 200 error. 200, sorry, 200 status code, and then the data. If something is went wrong, I'm returning successfully, like item is uh, having some error in create operation. Okay. So that response we are doing it. So we properly handled the uh, error mechanism, like we've properly coded for error handling also. So yeah. So this is the insert code. Now let's deploy it, and then let's check one by one. Okay. So the first one, CDK synth, it will create the CloudFormation template, and then for your CDK application, if any error in your code, it will help you to find out. Okay. So and then CDK deploy. Yeah. So just asking the confirmation. So these are the services we are going to deploy: table, and Lambda invoke function, and permissions we are providing it. Okay. Yeah, sure. We can proceed. So okay, maybe it will take time. So meanwhile, we will check other Lambda functions as well. Okay. So other Lambda functions are read, record. So it's just nothing like we integrated with the API gateway. So order ID will be we can get it from the params. Okay. And then in through that table we are querying it with the help of SDK. Okay. So it will return the record. So based on the order ID. So that we are doing it. Yeah. So convert the item into the uh, JSON format. If anything went wrong, we are returning the error. When we are doing Marcel and unMarcel things, convert the map into the JSON structure. If everything is success, we are just returning the data. Okay, so that we are doing it. So in the read record and then update record. Yeah, so the update record also we integrated with the put uh, method API, so we can get the order ID from the params. Okay, so we are going to update the quantity. So quantity will be we can get it from the payload, and then first time this is the update item input, and then I'm querying with the order ID, and then I'm setting the quantity, so which I'm passing the value in the payload. So everything is success, the item will be updated. If something is went wrong, the data will be removed. Okay, like we are just returning not removed, so we are returning the proper error response, we are returning it. So this is what we are doing, the update record. And then delete record also is almost similar with the update record, so we can get the order item from the order ID from the params. Okay, so we are just matching that record is exist. We are uh, we are deleting it here. The record is not exist, we are just written the record not found. So that is what we are doing it. If everything success, we are just written successfully deleted a record message. So anything went wrong, we are just written the proper error message. So this is what we are doing it. And then this is how we have to structure our code to build the crude APIs in AWS Lambda in Golang. Okay, and with the help of AWS SDK. Okay, SDK and CDK. Okay, so yeah, now we get the API gateway URL also, we get it, and all the resources and everything is successfully deployed. Yeah, so now let me share my screen to AWS console. We will check the services and everything. So yeah, so we want to make sure Dynamo table DB table is created. Yeah, perfect. Table is created, and we want Lambda, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, screen is perfectly sharing. So Lambda. So we created 4 Lambda functions. So that we want to make sure. So create read order, create order, delete order, and update. All the Lambdas, everything is created. So another one is API gateway that we want to make sure. Yeah, AP gateway also created perfectly, and then need to check my Lambda has been integrated with AP gateway or not. That I need to check. So let's take read order function. Yeah, AP gateway, my Lambda has been integrated with AP gateway. So okay, fine. Now let's test the APIs. So this is the APIs we can see we created. So we have a create post method. Okay. So in the AP section test side, you can see the payload we can pass in. Yeah, this is the payload I have. create ID, product, and laptop quantity. Okay, so now I will test the API. Let's see. Yeah, so it says successfully inserted the item. So now I will change the order ID to and monitor quantities 3. Okay, I will test it says successfully inserted the item. That fine. So now let's open the DynamoDB. Let's check orders table and then explore items. Yeah, so we can see 2 records has been created. Okay, so now let's check some other APIs also. Some other APIs, so we have order ID. So let's check get API. So we can test the API here. So order ID, I will order ID first order ID record I need. Yeah. So first record details we can get it. Let's check second record. The second record, the quantity monitor, that's also we can get it. So now let's test another API is update. Okay. So order ID, I'm going to update first order ID, and then the payload will be my the quantity I'm going to update it. Okay, from 2 to 5. Okay, that is what I'm going to do it. Yeah, it says successfully updated the item. Now let's go and check the DynamoDB table and see. So previously order ID is 2. Let's refresh it. Yeah, now order ID like the quantity is 5. Okay, so now the let's test the final API, which is the delete API. Okay, so just a second. Delete. Let's test it. Order ID will be 1. First order ID, we are going to delete it. It says successfully deleted with the order ID 1. So now let's check the DynamoDB table. Yeah. So now the record has been deleted. Okay, yeah, that's it, guys. So that's it about like this serverless application for order management. Okay, so this is how we have to structure our code, and then like if we have to build the serverless application. So it's just like a sample application for order management. So we already documented, we already uh, uploaded all the code and everything in our um, repository. Okay, we have a repository for AWS developer series. We will share the link in the description. Okay, so like here you can see various branches. Each and every session we have a separate branch. So in this serverless, this is fourth session, I think, if I'm not wrong. And then this is the serverless app. Here you can see all the code base and then the payload and everything. You can see it. Okay, so yeah, that's it. For this serverless application session. Okay, in the next session we will talk about how to like secure our APIs with Cognito. So we build the crude APIs, right? In the next session we will discuss about how to secure our APIs. Okay, so yeah, that's it, guys. So we will see you in the next session. Yeah, thanks everyone.